are vividly.
Hello. Love is terrible here. I've been in a real mood, and I'm sick and tired again of being sick and tired. Generally, I'm okay with the whole not doing too well thing, but there's been a real fork in the road lately, and hoping to do something creative to just help shake some things off. So I'd like to speak to this concept that I roughly map around my mind of tough love, and hopefully just provide something creative or just individual to it as I can, because I have a real mixed feelings towards the conventional notion we hold of this idea of some external parental authority that sort of espouses laws and rules from the outside, that we go on to follow and abide by, generally for the sake of our own survival and well-being. How's that for love? I don't know. So, tough love is, I don't know if I want to say it's distinctly human, but it's certainly not the love in the metaphysical platonic sense. I do worry that the more I begin to unravel this tapestry that is my idea of tough love, the closer I inch into Plato's domain there. But by the best of my ability here, I do hope to stay in the right place at the right time. But as we might soon see, there might not be such a thing. I see tough love, obviously, as the work of love in the human sphere. It's something that I think could be applied to all things. I believe that where there is passion and satisfaction, there is inevitably dissatisfaction and, well, the other side of passion. Passion is an ambivalent creature, isn't it? Because I don't know if you guys got the whole message yet, but it seems as if we are limited, bound, and utterly intertwined with a changing and fluctuating, unstable reality, and all that satisfies us and that holds us is not promised and inevitably moves. And with that, tough love almost touches the bipolarity of love, in the sense that it realizes that love, in the universal sense, really isn't something of this world, because if it was, maybe it would stick around. Maybe it wouldn't be left to these fleeting moments of grace and mutual satisfaction and this deep identification and knowing of the other as ourself in these spaces of connection and belonging and beauty and all such things. And what we do with that, in the sense that we have so much trouble with this. Some of us more than others, but I think it's a common sentiment. We go off into fantasy, into imagination. We try and hold it, we try and contain it and have it, but reality thinks otherwise. And we're left in a desolate place, it seems, because it's frustrating because it doesn't stay in one place, because we touch against its limits. We may not have our cake and eat it too. Because, well, love isn't something of this world. And we're left with a real dilemma, a bipolarity. In the sense that those of us with a maturity come around to this realization that love is something of a choice. Once the honeymoon, fades out, wears off, and we begin to smell what's right under our noses, there's less of a charm, less of that same effect really applies in the same sense, and we see what we're really made of. And it's almost that willingness, that care, that thing that remains between the good and the bad. And it's like we recognize that good and bad are something of a childish notion. It's really child's play. And I call this work tough love. And I speak of it as work because in this bipolarity of our relationality or our relationships or our experience of love, if we're so unfortunate to have not made much of this communication in the first place, which I believe is really a life's work and a pipe dream at best, to see both of these sides and work out something of a life raft or a compromise between, we're in for a rude awakening in the sense that both of these things are challenging, but they seem to arise out of each other in the sense that things were bad because they were so good, and things were good because they were so bad. And in love, when we care, when we see how good things are and we bring that into our knowledge and we experience that, we're left with that, oh my God, like it's comparative, and we're forced to reckon with that. And it's challenging because there's so much in between. There's so many hard feelings, and it can be rather terrible, I think, and takes a real settling and a real question of commitment, and not to mention all of the anxiety, frustration, and hardship that brings, because it stirs up so much in us, because I believe this is such a developmental feature. It doesn't just have to do with what's here now and the moment as such. It's a real similar song, I believe, even if the, instruments and bells and whistles might change out. It's a real variation on a theme over time. The music and the drama that is love. But you see, I worry in this drama and this challenge, it's paralyzing, and I really bit the bullet here because I was so confused, because I had a doozy of a song to play, and I couldn't keep my feet, and I tended towards the misery and fell down to some of the deepest, darkest bowels and fiery infernos of love, and was scalded. And I worry that we come to these conclusions of the disaster and the horror of love, which comes as something of a flop in the face of such a divine intuition of the greatest and the best and the most, beautiful experiences of our life with someone else. For it to utterly crash and burn in confusion and in utter temporality and just meaninglessness, because it doesn't last, and we have these big heads and we get in the way, but to face that, to stand right there in the middle of that, and to see our imperfection and just the burden and the utter confusion that places upon us. Tough love cannot be the practice of misery, as tough love is willing to sit in the heart of the storm of that drama. And that is where the work really starts, I believe, is that no, we recognize our worth, we recognize our own place in the face of love, and I think there's a true devotional quality to tough love, in the sense that yes, there is a choice, in the sense that we're so willing to do better, but to say no, almost, and to choose love in a cliche sense. But I worry that if good and bad as such is a childish notion, we're all children deep down. And in tough love, we really begin to get acquainted with the many faces of the bipolarity of love. We really have to start to have the conversation with those things we love, but also within ourselves, and to realize the complexity and the layers of everything, and realize that it's not enough to just love one thing. We have to love all sorts of things because it relates, it connects. We have to love ourselves. We have to love all the selves within selves. All the other things that make everything else up. And I think tough love is some of the toughest work we can do, but where true strength abides, because it's a life raft. It's something out of the chaos. It's not an answer. It's not an out. But it's the out of recognizing there's no out, and of accepting our fate, accepting love, accepting that we can't give up, we can't give in, because we love, goddammit, we fucking love. And I don't know, and this is my hatred of this video and this entire idea, is do we still say that we don't? Is to love fully to not? If we are so incapable, if we are so bloody selfish on some level? Is human love truly the destiny of its own destruction? There's no yes or no answer here. This is where emptiness really starts to make sense to me. Because I looked and I looked and I looked for love until it had to hit me over the fucking head, to the point where I really tasted the suicide equivalence of needing to know, of needing to have, of needing to possess, of needing to, of needing love, rather than starting to truly be love, to get fucking real, and to accept that on some level we are all children, but to look that child in the eyes and to start there with love, and to say no so that we can start saying yes. Good luck, you guys. It's so tough sometimes. But strength, endurance, liberation, peace, these moments of grace, it's all possible. It's all there. It's not one or the other. So patience, I think, is helpful. It all starts with a certain willingness, right? It's where faith comes to me. It's something of love in the sense, and it's so tough.